Welcome to Quick News, another exciting, another edgy edition of Quick News. Now remember an era in wrestling where it wasn't unpredictable, where it wasn't dominated by John Cena, an era where wrestling was actually entertaining to watch, an era in which wrestling was actually the norm, and it was actually like the cool thing to watch. Nowadays, if you watch wrestling, people are like, oh, well that's nice, that's very nice, you watch wrestling. That's really cool. But in the 90s, it was like, why are you not watching wrestling? It's like the greatest thing on TV. And that is what the Attitude Era DVD is all about. And that's the DVD/Blu-ray that I'll be reviewing in this Quick News. Now, the video might not be quick, but it'll be informative. Now, they had a lot of interviews from Attitude Era stars, and the main interviews came from JR, Christian, Mick Foley, and Mark Henry. And those guys, I guess, were like the commentators or the narrators of the whole thing, because you see them throughout the whole DVD. Some people you just see like them once or twice. You see some reused stuff, like they reused some stuff from the Monday Night War from Eric Bischoff, and it's actually a really interesting DVD. It's like, you know, all those VHS tapes they have of, you know, WWF Raw's War, you know, like the best of Raw's War, like Jericho. This is like all your VHS tapes crammed into 3 DVDs or 1 Blu-ray disc, I believe. I don't know how many Blu-ray discs, but I know it is available on Blu-ray. And it's really, like, interesting. Like, for example, I learned that it was actually JBL, or Bradshaw, as he was going by in the 90s, that it was his idea for the hardcore division and the hardcore title. But Vince Russo, being the smart guy that he is, decided to do the Brawl for All. And I think we can agree that the Brawl for All was about as successful as the XFL. And we all know that the XFL was not successful at all. The featurette, or the feature itself, is only 60 minutes, so that's kind of a letdown, but it's a packed 60 minutes, though. I mean, they cram a lot in there for 60 minutes. And the good thing, though, is that there's about 6 hours of bonus material, which includes matches, interviews, and segments. And what's nice on discs 2 and 3 in the DVD version is that when you want to watch the special features, it's kind of set up like a movie, so you can just hit, like, you know, play movie, and it'll play all the options, rather as you don't have to play, you know, chapter by chapter to chapter, which kind of can get annoying. And the other thing was, they only had Stephanie McMahon. She was the only McMahon to be interviewed for the Attitude Era, which I found that kind of, well, it was, I guess, kind of stupid, because why are you only interviewing Stephanie McMahon? I mean, yeah, she was a part, but why not interview, like, Vince McMahon, you know, the person who, well, was in charge, well, still is in charge of the WWE, actually. And they were missing interviews from, like, Edge, Chris Jericho, Undertaker, and Triple H, which I find ironic, because those guys were kind of like the staples of the Attitude Era, to kind of help the Attitude Era be what it was. And they didn't really have that much from Stone Cold and The Rock. I think The Rock was shown like one time, and Stone Cold was shown one time, and while Stone Cold was like, yeah, the Attitude Era, it was awesome, because I got to drink beer, and I got to say, oh, hell yeah. That's kind of what he all said. And The Rock, he said something similar, but he was like, yeah, that's where I really became The Rock, because I was able to speak on the mic and do my people's eyebrow. Of course, I can't do the people's eyebrow, so, yeah, they needed more interviews from them, and what the best thing was is, when you're watching, like, the featurette and the extra features, there's no blurred WWF signs, so you can see them, and they don't blur out the word WWF when a wrestler is trying to say it, like, you know, when Stone Cold's like, oh, I beat him for the WWE title, you actually get to hear them say the F. So he'd be like, oh, I beat him for the WWF title. It's like, wow, we actually get to hear it in its originality. So, yeah, that was pretty awesome, and this is a must-buy for every wrestling fan. I don't care what era you grew up in, trust me, you will want to buy this wrestling DVD. It's actually really good. It's probably the best DVD that WWE has made to date. And it's way better than those, like, the best of 2012 or something like that, you know. But trust me, you will want to pick up this DVD or Blu-ray. It is a must-have for any wrestling fan. So yeah, that was my, I hope it was short, little interview, but I know it was informative. So, what you gotta do now is you can comment, like, subscribe, or favorite this channel. And if you subscribe, that'll be your BFF forever. We can be best friends, y'all!